We started off by losing our fast bowling coach in the 11th hour. Then our captain lost his passport. And then, as most of us expected, against a very strong West Indies T20 side, Sri Lanka lost the first leg of that tour, the T20 series, in favour of the West Indies 2-1. Sri Lanka winning that one T20, the second one. And I'm sure most of us cricket fans, you and I, and my friend here, Haroon Mowjood, also stayed up or probably woke up at 3:30 in the morning to witness those matches. Haroon, did you watch them, and did you see how close a couple of the games were where we could have won, but unfortunately another series loss? What did you make of it overall?
Yeah, I did manage to catch all the games. Samir woke up not at 3:30 but early, and then very disappointing. I think the main concern has been the batting. I think it was a fantastic show in terms of bowling. Very impressed with how Dushman the Chamira bowled. The spinners, we knew how good they were, but Dushman the Chamira was, for me, the pick of the bowlers in terms of those conditions and the pace in which he bowls, the length in which he bowls. But batting, once again, I think I mentioned this on social media as well in terms of the skill set that you need to play T20 cricket. You need those boundary hitters. You need those, batsmen who can take any bowling team apart. And I thought the West Indian bowlers had that T20 experience to outwit our batsmen.
True.
That's where we really lost it. The batting is the sole problem there.
Well, there was a star-studded West Indies lineup, let me tell you that, because these are boys who go and play on pretty much every league that's out there. And you're talking about big names like Lewis and Gale and, Pooran and them. And our spinners did manage to trouble them, which is a good sign, as Haroon says. And Dushman the Chamira, once again, very impressive, because he's one of those rare fast bowlers in Sri Lanka that you find that really can trouble the batsman with pace. And that's something he did against some seriously good West Indies batsmen. Let's get to him. But before that, as it has become a habit for us, unfortunately, we look at positives in losing causes. So let's talk about a couple of the good debutant performances, Haroon. I was very impressed by the way this young boy, Pathum Nissanka, batted. We've heard of his stats in the first class scene. We all talked about why he wasn't getting opportunities, and now that he's got his opportunities, he's taken it with his two hands, and he's really impressed with his batting. Another Kusal Mendes, I thought, very similar in the way he approaches the game. I have one question though. Is it too early to put him in the T20 side? Because to me, he looks more of an ODI test batsman.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the coffin. I don't think it's the place for him to start. Yes, it's not that he does not deserve a place in the T20 side. He batted very well. Looked the more mature of all the batsmen that actually took the crease. But yeah, the start could have been maybe at the one-day level, then probably get him to test, and then look how we went and then brought him to the T20s. You're like putting the person into the deep end. The format is new because the level in which we play T20 cricket in the country is far below compared to what the leagues and international cricket is. So you're asking a lot out of him, but I think he has proven his worth. He still fits the unit, but as you said, the start shouldn't have been the T20s. Samir.
I guess he had to make it up because the luck of a few players that you did mention. But also about Ashwin Bandara, what did you make of him?
Fantastic. I really like the boy's energy. Very, agile, nimble-footed. Especially when he comes in bat, he's always looking to, convert those ones into twos. And that 40 he got in yesterday's game was so crucial for Sri Lanka to get into a respectable total. Yes, Chandimal really, anchored the innings. But if it wasn't for Bandara's 40 runs, we would have really been struggling. So really impressive two debuts, Samir.
He didn't give it away. He was willing to be out there and fight it out for the team. But then now let's talk about that middle order problem that we have. Haroon, do Chandimal and Matthews belong in the middle order of a Sri Lankan T20 team? I don't think so.
Personally, I don't think both can play in that particular way. It's going to really, pull down the momentum of the side. Not to take anything from those two players.
No, they're brilliant, skilled batsmen, But do they belong in that position? That's the question.
Exactly. Considering the format of the game, knowing that they take a bit of time, it has to be either one of them playing, but not both. Looking at Chandimal, I think he is the preferred option to me personally. Matthews, I think, you'll have to make a call, because if that contribution with the ball is also not coming, it's a problem. But also it depends on a blended of factors, because you're having Dickwalla in that side, a bit of a kind of a liability at this point. Should Chandimal take the gloves and be batting at number 3? All those ifs and buts are opposed with looking at our batting lineup.
Interesting one with Dickwalla. It's funny how Matthews sort of held him towards the end, and and that second ODI he pretty much didn't bat, just didn't even face a few balls. Then who would you bring in? So if you're going to get rid of Matthews in the T20 side along with Chandimal in the middle order. I know some of the boys who are T20 specialists couldn't make it because of this whole fitness madness. Who would you put in there? Bhanuka?
Exactly. So the names that come into my mouth is Avishka Fernando and Bhanuka.
Avishka, an opening batsman, would you put him in the middle order?
At number 3, I don't think it's too bad, because you're just batting one step below, and he did play a few games, if I'm not mistaken, at number 3. So I think either him or Bhanuka Rajapaksa are ideal for that.
And we did miss Dasun Chanaka as well.
Yes.
We have
so
to
the series of names that I mentioned, Visirudana, Avishka Fernando, Kusal Pereira, you have a series of these are T20 cricketers who can take any bowling side apart, and which I thought Sri Lanka really dearly missed in this particular batting lineup.
Right, we did miss appointed captain. Okay, but there were disappointments as well. Let's talk about them now. Dick Weller, he's had so much promise, but unfortunately lately, especially limited overs, we haven't seen him do much. Thisara Pereira, after the fantastic LPL that he had, I was expecting a lot from him, but first match gave it away. Second match, unfortunately, run out. Bowling not so good, was probably the only disappointing bowler on the whole tour. And obviously we spoke about Matthews. So what can these senior players do to put up a better effort?
So yeah, in short, he will have to perform.
Yes.
But yeah, out of the 3, I thought Thisara looked more of the passenger, to be honest. At the side, it was kind of a burden for Sri Lanka to be carrying him on the field. He didn't feel too well as well.
True.
There were certain instances where there were boundaries where the ball just passed him, and it was quite a disappointing effort, as you mentioned, Samir. A lot was expected of him, especially with that LPL performance. I think we were debating that he should take the
captaincy,
mantle of captaincy and all those elements, but I think the decision to give Dasun was the right choice. Looking at Thisara Pereira and all the rumors that's coming about the chaos that's being caused within the team, I don't know, maybe Sri Lanka cricket will have to have a chat with him and see what his role is going to be, because if he's neither going to bat nor bowl, I don't see a point in playing him in that particular level.
Correct, yeah, and the seniors really have to put their hands up, because generally what you get in a T20 is a good blend of youth and experience coming together for success. Unfortunately, this time though the youth were quite good, it's the seniors who were apparent seniors who were disappointing and couldn't get us over the line, if I could put it that way. Although one of the biggest success on this series was the spin trio. Akila Dharanjaya, we'll talk about him. Vanidhu Hasaranga, you don't need words for him. The guy is an absolute superstar. Everything he's doing is just absolutely magical. Batsmen are struggling to read him, and I think going forward he's going to be one of the biggest assets for Sri Lanka cricket, not just with the ball but also with the bat. And then of course we had Lakshan Santhakan, came in from the second T20I, was very, very good. He's improved consistency wise. There were times before when Santhakan you would expect you would expect regular bad balls from him, but now you get regular good balls and that one-off bad ball.
Yeah.
We can praise these two for how well they did. Everyone knows that. But let's talk about Akila Dharanjaya. He had a very mixed series, didn't he? That hat-trick and then the 6 sixers. And the second match he came back very well, 13 runs in his 4 overs. And then the third match, absolute disappointment. What can this boy do to be more consistent and make sure that he puts in a decent performance every game and not just every other game?
Exactly. I think I've mentioned this before. The problem with Akila is the fact that he doesn't have a proper stock ball.
Yes,
so
that stock ball.
Leg spin, he bowls his off spin, he bowls googly. The moment he's hit for a few sixers, he doesn't know which one to go to.
Tries too many things, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think yesterday's final over was a very good example of the fact that he struggled to bowl the leg spinner, bowled 3 full tossers or to 1 shot and got clubbed all over the park. So the fact that the other 2 bowlers have something to actually go to. Santhakan has that quicker Chinaman, then you say Vanidhu Hasaranga has that googly to come into place. They have confidence of that particular ball. That
they know they can execute it well.
Exactly.
As for Akila, he struggles with that.
Exactly. I think he's very good with that conventional off spin, but for some reason he didn't go in that last over. We didn't see him bowling that.
And he got his hat-trick with the stock ball, didn't he? And those were left-handers and right-handers in there. So I'm not sure why he tries so many things. Perhaps the coaches can have a word with him. I mean, we really want him to do well because he's a genuinely skilled bowler. And so having him and the 2 other spinners in the team can really do well, considering the fact that the World Cup is going to be held in India, which are going to be spin-friendly wickets, right? So let's hope that Akila bounces back and does things well for Sri Lanka. We spoke about Chamira, so really bowling, there's not really much to complain about. I think we've got a very good bowling attack after a long time. And if the batting can improve, as Haroon said, I think we can hopefully go on to become a formidable T20 side. Okay, ODI is starting tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 p.m. onwards, Sri Lankan time. What do you make of it? Dimit obviously comes back into the side as a captain. What other changes do you see happening? Will he open with Dhanush Gurutilaka? Does he open with Dick Weller? And then who plays at number 3 is going to be Nisanka. What do you see happening in the squad?
Yeah, very good point. With Dimut coming in, you really would question it, because if Chandimal and Matthews both are to play, who would actually take the gloves? Most likely, I feel Dick Weller will play, but bat in the middle order. That's what I'm anticipating or assuming. I'm not really sure, but I feel Dhanushka should open with Dimut. You need that, flair, flamboyance with the person who can actually keep things poised. Pathum Nisanka should definitely play. I feel Ashane Bandara might miss out with both Chandimal and Matthews being in the squad. I'm not sure whether Dashan Chanak is available.
He's part of the ODI squad, yes. But he's available only from the second ODI.
Yes. So for tomorrow's game, really not sure. Maybe they might give him a go, but it's going to be the spin trio that really takes things forward. I would hope for Ramesh Pathiran to play. Ramesh Mendis. Then we have solid 40 overs of good spin bowling in those conditions, because it's going to be slow, it's going to take turn. That's where we can really penetrate through the West Indies batting lineup.
And they do rely on pace a lot, the West Indies batsmen, to be able to hit those wickets. When you slow it down, we've seen they struggle. So yes, good point. We can perhaps bring in Ramesh Mendis, and the boy can bat as well. So that's an added batting cushion in that lineup. Okay, prediction time. Who do you think will come on top? When West Indies came here to Sri Lanka last year, there was the last ODI limited over series that we played. We lost the T20 series, but we won the ODI series 3-0. So do you see that happening again, or will it be a closer encounters? What do you think?
My personal opinion is, if we bat well, we will win the match. Because I think our bowling is formidable, and knowing how erratic the West Indies batting lineup can be, especially when they are put under pressure, we have strong chance of winning, provided we bat well, Samir. So I'm going for a Sri Lankan win.
Awesome. So am I. 3-0 hopefully, and that'll probably, dent or put behind those sad memories of losing the T20 series. We hope that Sri Lanka can come on top in the ODI series. We'll come back to you next week and tell you and give you our perspective of hopefully how that win turned out and how well Sri Lanka did. And then we'll look forward to the Test series as well. Thanks for watching Cricketology. We'll see you next week. That was Haroon, I'm Sam, and this was our perspective.